Welcome to Grand Prix, your go-to channel for the fastest updates in Formula One. We've got 3 hot stories for you, so make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell to stay ahead of the pack. Let's get started. Haas has confirmed that it has not yet halted the development of its current Formula One car and is planning to bring another major upgrade package to the United States Grand Prix in Austin. The package is expected to include changes to the floor, one of the most influential areas of performance under the current ground effect regulations. The American team's primary goal is to maximize points and prize money this season, with the midfield battle proving to be one of the closest in years. At present, only 35 points separate Williams in 5th place from Haas in 9th. With such a small margin covering 5 teams, every race finish and every upgrade carries significant financial implications. In Formula One, final positions in the Constructors' Championship determine the distribution of hundreds of millions in prize money, and a difference of even one place can amount to millions of dollars in additional funding. For Haas, finishing higher in the standings could provide crucial resources for future development. The team has already made steady progress with this year's car. Earlier in the season, a decisive package introduced at the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix in Imola provided a foundation for later improvements, including updates rolled out at Silverstone. According to Haas engineers, each step of development has brought tangible benefits, strengthening the team's ability to compete for points in an increasingly competitive midfield. Now, the focus is on preparing the next package in time for Austin. Before that can happen, however, Haas will rely heavily on simulation data and wind tunnel testing to validate the upgrades. Only if the results demonstrate consistent gains will the parts be brought to the track. This cautious approach ensures that resources are not wasted on improving concepts, a vital consideration for a team operating with a more limited budget compared to its front-running rivals. Chief Engineer Io Komatsu emphasized the value of even small performance gains. In his words, as little as a tenth of a second per lap can mean the difference of 5 positions on the grid. In the tightly packed midfield, this margin can translate directly into points on Sunday, which in turn impacts both prize money and team morale. For Haas, the balance between risk and reward currently leans toward continuing development, as the potential return outweighs the costs. Another factor influencing the team's strategy is the uncertainty surrounding the 2025 season. While many teams are already shifting resources toward next year, Haas argues that committing too heavily now could prove wasteful. Much of the grid's performance in 2025 will depend on power unit competitiveness, and as Haas continues to rely on Ferrari engines, there is no guarantee that the Scuderia will deliver the strongest package next season. Investing disproportionately in a car that could be limited by its power unit risks leaving Haas with little to show for its efforts. By contrast, the current campaign offers a more measurable opportunity. Every upgrade and every point can be tracked against direct rivals like Williams, Alpine, and Sauber. As long as Haas remains within striking distance of 5th place in the standings, prioritizing the present appears to be the most logical strategy. Of course, the decision carries its own risks. Teams like Ferrari, Mercedes, and Red Bull have already shifted much of their focus to 2026, when sweeping new regulations will redefine the sport. While Haas is correct to fight for immediate gains, there is a danger that falling behind in long-term preparation could leave them vulnerable once the new rules take effect. The challenge, therefore, is to strike a balance between present competitiveness and future readiness. McLaren heads into Formula One's summer break with a commanding lead in the Constructors' Championship, an impressive 299 points clear of Ferrari. In the drivers' standings, however, the fight is far tighter, and it's an intra-team battle. Oscar Piastri currently leads by just 9 points over teammate Lando Norris. Max Verstappen sits in 3rd place, 88 points adrift, but the reigning champion is still viewed as a threat. No one can afford to underestimate Verstappen's ability to turn a season around. In a recent interview, McLaren CEO Zak Brown acknowledged that the title fight will likely come down to his 2 drivers. He revealed that discussions have already taken place within the team on how to manage the situation should both drivers remain in contention until the very end. Brown pointed to the British Grand Prix earlier this year as an example of the kind of tension they want to avoid. At Silverstone, Piastri finished second behind Norris, but was visibly frustrated after missing out on victory due to a controversial in-race penalty. The Australian had hoped McLaren might return the position to him to restore his lead, but the team did not intervene. That moment underscored the fine line between letting drivers race freely and managing internal rivalries. According to Brown, McLaren will stick to its policy of not favoring either driver, even with the championship margin so close. He made it clear there will be no shift towards supporting just one driver for the sake of securing the title. Instead, the outcome will depend on each driver's consistency, execution, and perhaps even unpredictable factors such as weather conditions, safety car interventions, or on-track incidents. This approach is a bold statement in modern Formula One, where teams often lean toward backing a single driver when championships are on the line. Brown's stance suggests that McLaren values fair competition between its drivers and believes both are capable of delivering under pressure. However, it also opens the door to potential flashpoints if a critical race sees the two going wheel-to-wheel for victory. Maintaining harmony within the team will be crucial. The constructors' title may already be within reach, but a collision or costly mistake between Piastri and Norris could shift momentum in the drivers' championship and invite rivals like Verstappen back into play. As Brown noted, the challenge is to allow competition without letting it become destructive. For now, McLaren's plan is to let the fight unfold naturally, trusting that both drivers can manage the pressure and race respectfully. The second half of the season will test not only their pace, but also their ability to handle the psychological strain of a direct title fight against a teammate. So what's your take? Should McLaren continue letting Piastri and Norris battle it out on equal terms? Or should they prioritize one driver to maximize their chances of securing the Drivers' Championship? Sometimes, a strategy built on freedom can pay off, but in the high-stakes world of Formula One, it can just as easily backfire. After months of speculation, it now appears that Sergio Pérez will be one of the two drivers for Cadillac's debut in Formula One. Multiple reports from major outlets in Europe and the United States have confirmed that Pérez, alongside Valtteri Bottas, has signed with the American team, with an official announcement expected soon. For Pérez, this represents not only a continuation of his long F1 career, but also an opportunity to help shape the entry of a new manufacturer on the grid. Pérez brings with him a wealth of experience. The Mexican driver has been in Formula One for over a decade, with 14 seasons of competition under his belt. He has secured multiple race victories, podium finishes, and has been a key figure in the championship battles of recent years as Max Verstappen's teammate at Red Bull. His knowledge of race strategy, tire management, and adaptability has long been regarded as one of his strongest assets, making him an attractive choice for a team entering the sport for the first time. For Cadillac, the signing of Pérez is a clear statement of intent. The brand is not simply aiming to join the grid. It wants to be competitive from the start. By securing a driver with Pérez's experience and proven ability to score points even in difficult machinery, Cadillac is positioning itself to fight in the midfield immediately rather than spending years at the back of the pack. His presence will also provide valuable guidance in developing the car and establishing the team's culture in its first seasons. The timing of the decision also works in Pérez's favor. After months of uncertainty about his future at Red Bull, where his performances were often overshadowed by Verstappen, joining Cadillac gives him a fresh start and a leadership role that he could not enjoy in his previous team. Instead of being cast as a supporting act, Pérez now has the chance to be the face of a new project, carrying both responsibility and recognition. Reports suggest that the deal will cover at least 2 seasons, with the possibility of extension into 2028. This aligns with the current trend in Formula One contracts, where teams seek stability during the turbulent transition into the 2026 regulation changes. Pérez's experience will be critical during this period, as his feedback and adaptability could prove decisive in helping Cadillac interpret and master the new rules. Another key factor is the commercial appeal Pérez brings to the team. As one of the most popular drivers in Latin America, his signing ensures Cadillac will have significant visibility in a crucial market. Sponsorship opportunities, media attention, and fan engagement are all expected to grow with Pérez on the roster, strengthening the team's financial and cultural footprint in its debut years. Of course, expectations will be high. At 34 years old, Pérez is no longer seen as part of the sport's next generation, but his consistency and racecraft remain valuable. Cadillac will be counting on him to avoid costly mistakes, maximize every opportunity for points, and serve as a mentor to the team as it learns the complexities of Formula One. If he delivers, Pérez could play a role similar to Fernando Alonso's at Aston Martin, a veteran leading a young project into competitiveness. For Pérez personally, this move may also represent the final major chapter of his Formula One career. If successful, he could secure a long-term place with Cadillac and potentially finish his F1 journey as the leader of a growing team, rather than as a secondary figure in a dominant but unforgiving environment like Red Bull.